What's happening, Andy? Here I am joined today by Matt Schotten of HP. How are you today, Matt?
I am doing fantastic, Andy. Thanks for having me. Good to see you again.
Very good to see you. Great seeing you. We go back pretty far. I've known you in a couple of your previous lives, and today you're in a really exciting spot. You're with HP now, and why don't you talk about what you do for HP? Apparently, that's changed since we set this meeting. You got a little bit of a change in roles, and tell us what's happening. What are you doing at HP now?
Yeah, so I've been in or around HP for over 20 years. Actually started in 99 at HP. Spent about 10 years there, and then I went and worked for one of HP's channel MPF partners for about 10 years. And then I've recently came back as of the last April back to HP. As of yesterday, I was responsible for our contractual hardware portfolio, so both on the A3 and the A4. So we're looking at future product marketing. So the product that we just launched this fall, my team was responsible for that. We're also looking at even the next generation of A3 and the next generation of A4. We've got some exciting things coming next year. My team's responsible for that. And as of today, I also, because these products are contractual in nature, the go-to-market and SMB programs and services and solutions is a big part of that. I was always part of my organization. I fit right in that organization, but I now have responsibility for the team that's creating those offers, especially in the SMB and mid-market space for our channel partners around subscriptions and the program offers around those products.
So exciting stuff. You have a whole ton of responsibilities there. I'd like to actually focus a little bit on the hardware. The last time I was at an HP event, you guys had just started rolling out a new A3 product. You made a lot of noise about this product, and I've seen it everywhere since then. You had it at the event. I had some pictures of some friends of ours, Randy, over at Keypoint. Where else did I see it? I was recently
in Palo Alto at our executive forum. I saw you there, and we had the products on display.
Yeah, Palo Alto. Here's a picture of it. I saw at MyQ. I was at their program that they had, a big kickoff in Prague. This thing was on the floor. They went with the old school blue covers, and you can see the MyQ, very customizable, right? Which is one of the things that is going to make these great. So let's talk about these A3 products, because they were very cool, very different. They come in 4 flavors, if I remember correctly, blue, and then tell me what the other 3 colors were.
We actually have 6 colors.
6 colors.
Yeah. So right now, in kind of order of the feedback. Well, first of all, before I get into the colors, it was a bit of a gamble. And on my first day back at HP in April, I saw those and I'm like, wow, that's bold. However, the feedback from customers, partners, the industry has been tremendous. I've also had the opportunity to present these to about 50 of our largest enterprise customers, and the feedback has been overwhelming. So the standard colors are blue, followed closely by gray for a more neutral color. Red has been the 3rd most popular so far, but we also have yellow, green, and purple. And one of our partners in Europe, as a matter of fact, they have one of our latex flatbed printers, and they figured out a way to print custom designs directly to the plastic with one of our industrial products. And so they're
you make these things so secure. You go out of your way to make them do things that nobody ever thought a printing device could ever do. You give them the reporting capabilities that just no one ever imagined these things could record, right? And it turns out that they want the red one.
Yeah, it's certainly changing the conversation, and really it was by design. If you think about it, traditionally office copiers, I would do MPS fleet designs and always be the copy room or the mail room, and let's hide the device back there because it's not the most attractive piece of equipment in the office. But we want to change that perception. As companies are looking to modernize their offices, think about the role of the office that's changed. It's gone from the place we used to have to go to the place that we need to draw people back to. And the primary office, rather than sitting in a cubicle, is the opportunity to collaborate with your peers, to innovate, to ideate, to collaborate and work as teams. And with that, in a lot of customers, I was just in our Boise office this week, and we've completely redesigned that office to neighborhood. I'm like, well, where do we put the copiers? Well, let's put them right in that collaboration center. So we're working on new designs, and that, not just the color panels, but the flexibility and the scalability of the devices, also our smaller A4 devices. Let's bring those out of those mail rooms and copy rooms, or we're hiding them. Let's bring them front and center. and making them very approachable, making them very modern, but also making them super easy to use. We've got a new 10-inch controls panel in the new devices that operates like a tablet, extremely responsive and easy to use, but also a physical keyboard. So as these devices are used for digitization, let's make that process easy from a data entry on the device as well. So more of an office copier to a modern collaboration device was part of the intent behind it. And we also looked at it from a 360 design perspective. I talked to one of our enterprise customers, and that was an evaluation criteria. How good does the device look from the back? And I asked them, why does that matter? Well, because it's not going in the corner. It's going in the center of the room and needs to be attractive from a 360 view. So we thought about that as well. Very clean from the back, even with the modern design and even the cable management. And there's no place to put the copier manual. We made that look just like it's part of that modern office. So pretty exciting. Tremendous feedback from our customers, and it's been a lot of fun having those conversations.
So aesthetically, I mean, that really is a big deal. And I know there's a lot of people out there going to watch this and say, oh, who cares what color it is? But if you win the deal because you sold the orange one or the purple one or the red one, I mean, the customers, it's incumbent upon us as salespeople, right, to explain to these people when they're buying, why is this the best choice for them? Why is mine the best choice? But they've got 4 people sometimes telling them why theirs is the best choice. And at some point, all else being equal, isn't it nice to have something that's a little bit different? Moving beyond, let's get a little more into the physically what makes these different than the previous generation. All beyond obviously the colors, right? You mentioned that screen, right? That was reminiscent of the Samsung models back in the day. That A3 company you bought had some really, really nice 60+ page a minute device that had these huge screens on them. They were essentially, they were tablets, right? So you've kept that as part of the model, right? And these are coming out of the Korean factories, I would guess. Great to see you guys leveraging that technology that you bought, by the way. But so this next generation, you've got great screens. You've redesigned the control panel, so it's faster. It's much more intuitive, I think. Great. I guess scanner, right? You've got a scanning a document handler that holds, I don't know, hundreds of pages. Why don't you talk about it? So tell me about the scanning, the document handling, and other things that make these things such a step up from the previous generation.
Yeah, so the color panels and design of the product, that's certainly what's opening the door and changing the conversation. And it might be that one thing that changes a decision, but in reality it's the productivity, the performance, the manageability, security, all those things that HP's been famous for years. But on this device, it's our most productive and highest performance device we ever had. It starts with a new processor that's 7 to 17 times, depending on the application, faster than our prior generation. That enables a lot of things. The first, it's our fastest device ever, 70 pages a minute. That's 10 up on the prior generation. But probably more exciting, it's the fastest scanner, I think, today in the industry. Our legal team will let me say that for a little bit until somebody catches up. But 300 images per minute on scanning. So we have a 70 page per minute printer and a 300 image per minute scanner, which is incredibly fast. We enhanced that further with a technology called HP Every Page. And what HP Every Page does is ensures document integrity. When you're moving paper that fast, due to static or bad originals, there's a chance that paper could be stuck together.
Mm-hmm.
A 50-page document, it pulls 2 through, but does not jam. Well, your 50-page document becomes a 49-page PDF, and that's a problem, right? So HP Every Page will detect that. Just like an ATM machine never gives you more or less money than it means to. We want to make sure that every page is intact. And on the prior generation, we had that as well. It would stop and let you know, hey, there's a misfeed. Pull that out and reload it. And that prevented that, ensured that document integrity. This version does that same thing, but actually backs the page out, separates it, and pulls it through.
That's amazing.
Innovation from a hardware standpoint. It's all designed to make it easier to use for the users, but higher document integrity, making sure every page turns into a digital image.
So just to stop you right there, before you guys actually bought that company, we did a test. We had a lab test. We ran 1 million pages through basically that engine, which is now 3 generations, 4 generations later. Back then, that scanner was 250 images per minute. We ran 1 million pages through that. We had to have the rollers changed 1 time. That was the only misfeed we had, was when the roller went. And, a million pages in, at some point, you're going to have to replace the rubber, right? I mean, you're just going to wear through it. And that was the only maintenance that machine needed for document scanning. It was unbelievable. So here we are, I'm guessing it's probably 5 years down the road. And the enhancements that you just described, first of all, the increase in speed, I can't even imagine. That was the one thing, like, you would just, 100, 200, 300 pages. We mixed the originals that we'd have in there, and that thing just never stopped running. It was huge, and it was fast, and it was, I mean, it was about the most robust feeder that I think I had used to that point. So
I'm
pretty
so
amazing.
excited to hear your
It was
excitement.
amazing. It was
You
amazing. I've got video of it. It's on my YouTube channel. That thing was unreal.
Video of that same scanner with the reverse and retry. It's just like a 20-second video. Interested?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, never mind. You've prevented me from sharing, so I can't share.
Oh, I can't. No, we'll do that another time. Or you know what? You can send that to me, and we can pop it in the description below. But just exciting stuff. So, it's tough to come out with an A3 product that gets people talking and gets people, really jazzed up. It's, the larger console device machines, and right now I think the trend is not just A3, but the trend is really moving towards A4, which is really your sweet spot. So you did have that big A3 launch, but that wasn't everything that you launched at that time. You had A4 that complemented it. Can you, tell us a little bit about those products and who those are for and how those are going now as well?
It's really about balanced deployment, and we have the broadest portfolio in the industry. Everything from the consumer and a sub $100 device, all the way up through our department class MFPs and beyond. If you think about what we're doing in the wide format space and graphics and web presses and those type of things, but in the office, having that balanced portfolio, right? And in a micro SMB, there might be a choice point of, do I need an A3 or an A4 device? And depending on my applications, paper usage and volumes, it might be an A3 or A4 decision. But when you get to the mid-market and the enterprise, it's really an and it's about putting the right devices. What is our strategy for hybrid? What devices are we going to put at home? I have a nice HP device over there.
I was going to ask.
A little bit bigger than what the average user needs, but I do a lot of testing and deployment on some of our manageability solutions on that. But everything for what are we going to do on our home devices for hybrid and flex worker? And when we get to the office, is it a centralization strategy, or are we going to distribute the users? And so having all of those products to be the right device in the right place is really exciting. And we've got tremendous market share and success in our A4 products. A lot of those technologies, especially from a manageability, security, environmental sustainability, move up into A3. And then a lot of our A3 technologies will move down into A4. And stay tuned next year for some exciting things that we're going to do in the A4 space as well, expanding that portfolio.
Well, I can't wait to see that. Let's close up with, talking about how you're selling the subscriptions. I know, Instant Ink, back when HP did that, gosh, it had to be 10, 15 years ago at this point, probably 15. It was a crazy thing. And then all of a sudden it was a really smart thing. And, and then we started seeing subscription programs like that, showing up in every other part of our world, whether it was, your Netflix or your razor blades or your dog food, right? It's and HP got in on that probably as early, if not earlier, than just about every one of those industries. And now, you see a lot of your competitors moving to that. So tell me about your subscription programs, other pricing programs. How are these products, being sold? What are you seeing as being, what do the customers want?
Yeah, Instant Ink's been tremendously successful. My daughter, she's in college, and I got her an Instant Ink printer. I've been in print her entire life and didn't raise her very well. She didn't think printers were very cool. But now that she has a printer in her dorm room, she uses her smart app to scan and print from her mobile phone, and ink just magically shows up, and she thinks it's free because it's on my credit card.
Yeah.
So these printers are pretty cool. And that's really what Instant Ink has done. It's just made that subscription offer very easy, very predictable, very convenient. And then we built a bunch of services around that to make the device even more usable. You think about when you go to subscription, some of it's just around a monthly payment, but a lot of times you get additional offers. And so we're doing tremendous innovation around scanning, mobility. When you get that Instant Ink, you get that HP Plus, you get a lot of advantages in that space. And so that's really primarily for the consumer space, but we will scale that a bit into the micro SMB and SMB as we roll out new products with those capabilities. My responsibility is really our channel, right? And our enterprise and also our direct sales force. And for that, traditional MPS business, right? But they're also, subscription offers are evolving there around printing as a service, or others might call it device as a service. How do we bundle the hardware, services, and supplies together? Also thinking about, the different changing of technology. This device at home cannot be monitored by a traditional data collection agent, right? I don't have it. It's not on the VPN. It's not on a firewall, or it's not inside the firewall. So how do I monitor it? How do I supply it? How do I service it? And that's a unique advantage that HP does, especially in the hybrid, that we can connect this device to our cloud, monitor it, supply it, and service it. And so those offers both for our direct business, and we'll scale that out for our channel partners as well, enabling them to have that hybrid offer. Also with our channel partners, it's not just about the traditional MPS, but how do we take it to the next level with services and solutions, especially software solutions that are improving the productivity of the device. So like on this device, I'm running one of our WorkPath apps that at HP we use OneDrive, but whether it's OneDrive or Dropbox or Google Drive, whatever your cloud service is, I can log into that device with my badge. And in the same folder structure that I have in OneDrive on my PC, all my folders, all my documents are now available directly on that MFP. Looks exactly like I was on a PC. I can pick a folder, pick a document, and hit print, or I can pick a folder, pick a destination, and hit scan. And so it's like a computer that prints, and that same experience I have with Office 365 on a PC, I now have on my printer. So it's about
we should have had this conversation much earlier on, because people, start dropping off 10, 20 minutes in. But this is one of the most valuable things, I think, for our channel is that approach, right? Because the biggest fear is someone's just going to go on Amazon and buy a printer. Could be an HP, could be anything, doesn't matter. But if they go out there and buy it, I've lost them as a customer. When they do that, they may not be getting the right printer, because no one's consulting them on what they're giving up by buying the cheapest, least expensive printer they can find, right? You're not going to get things that you rely on, fast scanning, dual head scanning. You're not going to get, most importantly, this security, right? This authentication, this connection to all of your files, to your business's files. If you're connecting to them through an unsecured printer, if you're providing your employees with printers at their homes and they're not being properly set up and configured for security, they're vulnerable, and then they bring that virus home back to the office, and now you've got a big problem, right? Whereas if you set it up right, if you rely on your partners, and that's, I think, a huge opportunity for this channel right now, are these remote workers who are realizing it looks like it's going to be a while, looks like we may be able to work like this forever. And now I need to really set myself up for the long haul, right? You limped by, you bought a laptop, you got by with what you needed. But if you're in a situation where, I just got off the phone with a call with one of your competitors, they're back 2 days a week. Another one of your competitors is back 3 days a week, right? So nobody is back, as far as I know, full time, or at least most companies aren't. So that means, just let's split the average right there. That's half the time of the week these guys are working from home. You've got a printer there, I've got a printer there. If you're part of an enterprise, if you're part of a bigger company and you just went out and got that printer and now you plugged it in and you're printing, that's great. But if you didn't have the IT department set that up and allow you to authenticate and get on there properly, and by the way, the advantages that you just mentioned, hooking your Dropbox, your 365, all these other applications, workflows into the printer, which is what it's designed to do to help you, save steps, be more productive. I mean, you don't just have to be productive at the office, you can be productive at home. That's part of the whole move to home, is that, we're more productive. So let's set ourselves up to win, right? Let's set these machines up properly. Let's, help your customers understand that another few dollars will get them something that's going to be a lot more secure, and a lot more productive for them, right? You're spending it at the office. Why not spend it, at home, for the same reason? So I do think those improvements, those additions that you guys have mentioned, and those, just inherent advantages to HP and some of the companies like you, just as leaders in security and all that. I think you're just in a very, very good position right now with what end users are going to be screaming for over the next 24 months.
Yeah, you said something. I just want to tell a quick story. So, I was in the Boise office 4 days this week, and my home office in Dallas 1 day this week, and sometimes it's the opposite. But I was with a group of enterprise customers 2 weeks ago, and they shared this story with me after I shared one of our innovations. So that innovation, we now have the ability of having upgradable speed licenses. So on that A3 device, it can be a 40, 50, 60, or 70. You can choose that at the point of sale, but if the customer's needs change, they can upgrade. And that provides tremendous value to our dealers. They don't have to inventory 4 different types of engines. They inventory one and they choose the speed license when they sell it. Very much like there's an electric car company that you can upgrade the speed later. I did that with my credit card. It's pretty tremendous, right? Give them money and they speed up your 0 to 60 time. We're doing that same thing. That has benefits to the dealers. But what the customer shared with me is something I hadn't thought about yet. Well, in the enterprise especially, there are some people that are, some departments maybe that are up back 100%. Other departments are only back 25% because the job allows for that. And they said that's provided a challenge in sizing future technology. In the past, they would just look at what does our current copier look like, its configuration, and how much does it print? How fast is it? And that'll determine, what size we need. Well, now we don't know, right? And maybe the volume, maybe only 25% of the people came back. Do we need 100% of the device? And so they are starting with a slower speed. And as people return to the office, there's no penalty. You just pay the incremental difference to get to those faster speeds. They also shared with me that's pretty awesome, right? Every device is as productive, as reliable as a 70 page per minute, even when we're at that slower speed. So that's tremendous innovation, and our partners are loving it, but the customers are also loving that flexibility. And there's other things you can flex as well. So you don't have to get that 10-inch screen if you started with the 8. It's 2 screws to change it to a 10. If you decide,
see, that kind of approach is awesome for a salesperson, right? I just keep thinking about, if I was selling back in the day, to be able to go to that customer and say, look, just buy the cheapest one. Let's try something. Let's downgrade you guys, especially not for your current customers, right? But for your new customers where you're trying to crack in, you're trying to be innovative, you're trying to show them, maybe now you're offering them a solution where let's cut it back, let's scale it way back and see what happens. And if the people don't like it, if the people are, we can add more on, we can come back to it, but at least for a little while, we'll save you some money. We might save you money ultimately, and none of the competitors can do that at this point. Nobody else has a plan that I'm aware of where you can go in and change the speeds of the machine. I don't think you're going to change it from, fast to slow it down, but you certainly can start real low, right? Get in the door at the lowest price, because now you're selling a 30, 40 page a minute machine. Everyone's at 60, and you convince the customer, try it. See what happens if it's a little bit slower. They won't even notice, you tell. And they take a shot on you. And if they don't like it, if they want faster, well, now it's just, an incremental cost, and you're probably priced where they were before. But how to be able to go in and sit down with that customer and say, look, I'm going to cut your cost here by 10, 20% because I'm going to pitch a different machine, different level.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't support you,
a dozen different ways we're doing that. So I talked about
that's very cool.
Engine. We have an accelerator card now. So just even without the accelerator card, we've doubled the speed of OCR just based on that processor I talked about. It's twice as fast as the prior generation. But if that's not fast enough, maybe we put in a document management system and we're scanning a ton. We've got a 300 page per minute scanner.
Yep.
I put an accelerator card in and I double the OCR speed again. Right. And so we've got incredible, building that capacity on demand, if you will. That accelerator card also does one more thing I wanted to share with you. So I see a lot of customers, and sometimes I see there's more pages on the scanner than there are on the printer. And that could just be their backfile conversion. But another reason it happens a lot of times, sometimes you have to send the same document to multiple destinations. I need to send it to you as an email, Andy, but I also need to fax it to the opposing counsel in a law case, or maybe I also need to make a copy of it or save it to a SharePoint directory. Well, if you did those 4 things, you just scanned it 4 times. And even if it's just 2 times, that's twice as much. We saw a lot in title companies as an example. If you sign a house, sign your name 100 times, they make a copy of it for your records, and they also send it to a digital file for their purposes and yours. Well, that means you scanned it twice. And so that flow capability, you can now scan to multiple destinations, email, folder, SharePoint, fax, or even copy in a single scan. And again, that's bringing productivity to the user. And those are upgradable capabilities. You don't have to sell them that functionality. If their needs change down the road, you can upgrade to those things, whether it be hardware or software, things like the OneDrive or different document management integrations. We've got 140 different apps for the devices. And those apps can only be purchased through our channel. You can't get them directly from the device. It's not an app store model. It's truly designed for our channel partners to go out and deliver to their customers based on understanding their customers' needs. And they're the ones that deliver that experience to the customers.
Well, amazing. You guys have definitely not slowed down over the last couple of years in between some of the meetings that we had. It was really, really great to just catch up and see in person in Palo Alto a couple months ago, all the new things that you guys have been working on, and I'm really happy that you were able to take some time and catch up with me today. This was awesome. The A3 sounds like it's going great. The A4, obviously a very, very good place to be. Hopefully we get further and further away from 2021 and even 22 with some of the questions and not the questions, but the shipping issues that all of the companies have had, right? It's been a tough year. So, hopefully the further away we get from that, the rear view mirror and we keep pushing forward. But you guys are, you're on a real nice tear right now. Any last shout outs, anything you want to leave us with?
No, Andy, we appreciate you giving us this opportunity. Appreciate the partnership, and always enjoy chatting with you.
Well, thanks, Matt. We'll talk soon, and take care.
All right, take care. Thank you.
Bye.